What a beautiful morning it is. So far, things are going green, which is nice. But is it a fake out? We've been having a lot of volatility here, and I'm going to get into some market analysis, some technical analysis, and tell you just where I think things are going. So what do we want to hear first? Well, maybe before I get into some of the trading, let's start with some bullish news here. So here, let's listen to this and we'll react, or I will react right as it's happening. So here we go.
There is some anticipation, and there could even be a sell on the news. But the fundamentals, we put out a Bitcoin monthly piece every month, and you can see the health of the network.
This is Kathy Wood, and she owns ARK Invest, and she's one of the top people in line to get a spot ETF for Bitcoin, which would be huge for her firm. Lots of people would be putting in millions, if not billions of dollars for assets under management for the Bitcoin. And anyway, she's very bullish and always been very bullish on Bitcoin.
Work using our on-chain metrics. The health of the network is almost as good as it gets. And it seems like this is a bull market. Sure, we'll have puts and takes. Nothing goes straight up. But I think this...
Which is exactly what happened the last couple days. If you follow me, I showed you how the funding rate on leverage was incredibly high, which was an indication that there's possibly going to be a liquidation because there's just so many longs. We'll get into that.
Flight to quality, Larry Fink used that expression. We call it flight to safety. You look at what happened during the regional bank crisis. Bitcoin went from 19,000 to nearly 30,000 as the KRE, the bank...
So she's calling for a bull market. And what would be the perfect catalyst for that? It would be definitely the ETFs getting accepted here. I think here in the next few days is the deadline. They had like 8 days, and we're winding down on that. But it might be definitely buy the rumor, sell the news type of a deal, but it'll overall eventually go up here. And hopefully I got the timestamp here.
The world with. Is there something else that you put in here?
Sure. The reason we have focused as much on Ether
for blockchain that involves something that Bitcoin does not lead the world with. Is there something else that you put in here?
Sure. The reason we have focused as much on Ethereum as we have is we think, that is the smart contract network. That is the decentralized finance network.
So Bitcoin and Ether, anything beyond that?
Well, there are infrastructure players.
So you hear what she's saying? She is literally saying that Ether is basically the roadmap. It is the real estate for all cryptocurrency because of its smart contract technology. Yeah, you've got, I think she'll talk about it a little bit about layer 2 with Solana and Manic. I mean, you could have layer 1 with that as well. Faster transactions, ADA, Cardano, whatever you want to call it. Those are definitely very bullish, but Ether is it. Okay, let's listen to her.
Solana is doing a really good job. I mean, if you look at Ether was faster and cheaper than Bitcoin in the day. That's how we got Ether. Solana is even faster and cost-effective than Ether. So, there are infrastructure plays. We do believe Web3, digital assets. That's a big idea, actually. Digital assets with property rights. First time ever online that we're seeing property rights.
Do you think that some bears with Bitcoin have said, okay, there will be...
Just huge bullish sentiment towards all of crypto. And here, we'll get into some of the charts right now. And if you followed me yesterday, I told you that there was a big crash coming, and it had the form of a double top here. And it had to do a lot with the leverage where there were so many people that long, where I was included, and I had it left open because I was like, hey, if we break this neckline, boom, I'm out, and I got out. But I did get in towards the bottom of this move because I was anticipating it. So here, let me go back, just zoom in here, And I can show you where we had. So here is that double top. Boom, boom. We failed to break the resistance and it dropped down, right? Now I'm saying things are potentially going to bounce off here, but that's not what I want to tell you about. So here's the neckline, and it's hard to see because I had this yesterday. Boom, boom. That was my line, right? My line was potentially getting down in here into the 1900 to 1800, but it bounced off of the support, which could have been old resistance, but it bounced off. So as soon as that started happening, this long wick, boom, I got in, and I have a stop here at 1919, because if we break that, then it is moot point right now. But we will see. We're having a hard time now breaking back above into this range where we were at before. We need some sort of a catalyst, some sort of a news in order to bounce off of that. But you can see as far as stochastics, we are still a little overbought. It got a small little correction. If I move to let's go a lower time frame. God, why am I doing this? The 4 hour. Let me reset this and look at this. You can definitely see right where price is. There is getting a rejection right at here. Let's make this longer so it's easier to see. Boom. Right at the spot where we're trying to get back into that double top, where this could potentially here. So I want people to, this is somewhat of a risky trade, okay? Is this could be a fake out where we bounce up and then we could touch back down and boom, go off. That's what I'm hoping, that we're going to get to new all-time highs. That is a typical breakout move, but it might be a fake out to where boom, we come back down here and then we hang out in this range for a while until we get about 3 touches again before we bounce over here. Okay, so these are 2 very big possibilities that could happen. So if you were to trade this, right, you want to get in on a swing trade. Well, let's look at the 15-minute to see what it looks like. We are green right now. We need to wait for a little bit of a pullback, but you can see how getting a pullback to this line would be a good entry if you're trying to go long. Okay, then you'd probably put your stop down here between 1995. Potentially, if you wanted to not get completely turned out, you would want that 1980 or something. That's what I would do. But then your target would be closer to up here. We've got a lot of buying pressure here. Here on the daily again. How close are we? You can see, getting a little excited. Here is that golden cross. Golden cross on the daily, which is potentially happening. If we continue to go up, that sucker is hitting, which is basically, it's a confirmation that we're in a bull market here. So why did we tank? Well, here, let me open up. Here, let's just get typical RSI open. Okay, and this is still on the daily. We are still hovering right around being overbought. And that's why there's this correction that needed to happen, is because we were overbought for so long. But we did get the correction, and it would have been nice to get a bounce right off the 50. But anytime we're above the 50 inside this range, here, is it going to let me draw on here? Yeah, it is. Anytime we're in this range, it's usually, I don't want to say safe to go long, but that's what you're looking for, is you're looking for a long entry. And then down here, you're looking potentially to stay short. And down here, when you get here, then that's kind of a reversal. You're looking for something to pop up, okay? And so typically when something's here, you're looking for it to pop down in here, right? But RSI is kind of a lagging indicator here. Now that we've got these metrics going, because I'm really looking for this guy to pop at a new all-time high. Okay, Bitcoin did it with 38,000. Ethereum is just lagging. And that new all-time high, not forever, because that's like $4,800, but just for the year would be right around here. Okay, it would be right around 2,140. Why can't I talk? We got close, but we got rejected off of it. So that is what I'm suspecting is going to happen. And as soon as we have a confirmation of breaking above that, well, then we are moving up to the $2,500, $2,800 range, which could happen by the end of the year, okay? Which would be freaking epic, would be epic. I would love to see that. Now, here's an article that was interesting that I do want to point out. Is this from Cointelegraph? They basically just said the same thing as far as the RSI being overbought, right? It's getting pretty close there. They're saying about a fake XRP filing. But here, by November 21st is when those applications have to go in. And there's a couple of the deadline. The Grayscale has already met most of its deadlines, but it's probably still going to be approved at some point. And we're starting to get rumors that, hey, these ETFs are going to get accepted and approved here soon. And this was the most interesting thing, is that you had $307 million worth of liquidations happen over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin alone was 121 million. Ethereum was 64. I was part of that. I told you that if we break below that neckline, I'm going to get liquidated or stopped out. And that's exactly what I did. When it comes to leverage trading, you don't want to get liquidated because it's going to cost you way more. If you have a stop loss, it's going to save you quite a bit of money. Quite a bit of money here. So it's interesting. And I don't even know what the funding rate is right now. I need to look at that once I'm off the live stream to see. And basically, that was it. I am still looking to continue to go long. I think all these news is just adding up here. The stock market had its biggest day for the year. I don't want to say in history, but for the year, it was up quite a bit. I mean, my stock portfolio ended up gaining 7% just in one day, which is massive. But that is what I'm looking at. And I hope you guys enjoy this stuff. Yes, it is a live show. I've been going for 12 minutes. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you guys are long, if you're short, what do you think where the market is going? And until next time, this is Johnny Crypto here to help you guys make some money. Don't forget to hodl.